My name is Yin Gao and welcome to Dr. Gao's classroom. I'm a professional philosopher and I love classical Chinese poetry. I have been translating classical Chinese poetry for the last few years. I would love to share my knowledge on the subject with you. Your enjoyment is my command. This is my 21st video. I hope my recent videos are getting more mature than the earlier ones. Today's video is the last video on the topic of poetry and politics for a while. I'm going to do more videos on this topic in the future when I'm talking about the role of poetry in the politics of Song Dynasty. So far, I have done 6 videos on this topic, touched on different aspects of the connection between poetry and politics. My last video also touched on the why question. The reason that poetry played such a significant role in the politics of imperial China are deeply rooted in classical Chinese philosophical thoughts. Ancient Chinese philosophers believed that the cosmos is fundamentally musical. There is a cosmic rhythm that governs everything. Human activity should be organized in accordance with this cosmic rhythm. The ritual and musical performance Confucius promoted is a means to ensure the harmony among the heaven, earth, and the human world. In other words, human activities ought to be in steps with the cosmic rhythm. This is a huge topic. I can only touch on the surface here, but I'm going to do a series of videos elaborating on this topic in the future. My topic today focuses on Confucian ethics and political theory and the role of poetry in this theory. It is not possible to do justice for Confucian ethics and political theory in one video. So today I'm just going to focus on one concept of Confucian ethics and political theory. That is the concept of 君子 or exemplary person. I'm also going to translate and analyze one poem from the Book of Songs or 诗经 to illustrate why poetry is so important for a 君子 or a exemplary person. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other videos on classical Chinese poetry, philosophies, and medical literature. If you like the content of these videos, please click the like button and subscribe my channel. I also offer one-to-one online lessons on the subjects, so if you would like to read the original classics, please contact me. Here's my email address. Now, let me explain the concept of 君子 or exemplary person before I talk about poetry. Confucian political order is a bottom-up emergent order rather than one imposed from the top by the ruling class through the power of legislation, the police, and the army if the situation is bad enough. This kind of political order relies heavily on the class of 士 or scholar gentlemen, mostly consists of scholars with academic titles such as 秀才 or outstanding talent, or 举人 or the recommended persons, retired officials or teachers from state-sponsored academies or private schools. The virtuous and accomplished ones among them would have the reputation of being a 君子 or exemplary person. The exemplary persons were ones by organizing and participating in the ritual and musical performance created and maintained the socio-political structure at the local level during most of the imperial time in China. They often did not hold any office. Their authority ideally was solely based on their virtues and academic achievements. This is still partly true in contemporary China. I remember when my family lived in a village in the northern part of China when I was a child. My father, the only university graduate in the community, was often called upon whenever there was a dispute among the villagers or an important event such as wedding or funeral, even though he did not hold any position at the time. My father is a kind and honest man, perhaps virtuous to a certain degree, but he was certainly one with the highest academic degree in the village at the time. Apparently, he was regarded as a 君子 or exemplary person by the villagers. People looked up on him because of his academic achievement, if nothing else. Now, let me look at the characters of 君子. 君 means king or lord. 子 means son. So 君子 literally means the son of a lord or a king. It was Confucius who added a moral dimension to the term. There are many passages in the analyse discussing what a 君子 is like. I'm just going to cite two passages here. In Book 15, passage 18, the master said, having a sense of appropriate conduct as one's basic disposition, developing it in observance of ritual propriety, expressing it with modesty, and consummating it in making good of one's word. This is then an exemplary person. Book 6, passage 18. The master said, when one's basic disposition overwhelms the refinement, the person is boorish. When refinement overwhelms one's disposition, the person is an officious scribe. It is only when the basic disposition and the refinement are in appropriate balance that you have the exemplary person or 君子. The new definition of exemplary person has nothing to do with birth. Whether a person can be regarded as an exemplary person depends on his personal development and self-cultivation, that is. He is expected to refine his character and virtue by participating and organizing the ritual and musical performance, being modest, and making good of his word. Only when he achieves a balance between his disposition and refinement, he can be regarded as an exemplary person. There was an interesting event reported in the Analyse. In Book 11, passage 8, Nanrong frequently recited a verse from the Book of Songs about Bai Gui, or the white jade tablet. Confucius gave him his older brother's daughter to wed. Nanrong was Confucius' disciple. His first name was Kuo. His surname is Nangong. One day the master heard him chanting over and over a verse from the poem in the title of Being Cautious, or Yi, from the section of the 大雅, or the great elegance of the Book of Songs. Confucius was so impressed that he married his niece to him. Why? The Analyse did not give any reason. It might be because it was so obvious that the person recording this event thought it was not necessary. Although it has been over 25 centuries since then, we can still make an informed guess. Let me give you a bit of background about the verse Nanrong said it. This poem is allegedly composed by the Marshal Duke of Wei State, Ji He, to teach his son how to be a good prince. Ji He is one of the known wise lords among the early Zhou dynasty. He implemented many beneficial policies and was admired by his subjects. The poem Qi Yu, I'm going to translate it later in this video, was supposedly composed by his people to express their gratitude to him. Now, let's look at the poem chanted by Nanrong. The poem is quite long, so I'm just going to tell you the content of the poem and read the verse Nanrong said it. If you want to know the whole poem, please contact me. Here's my email again. There are 12 verses in the poem. The whole poem is a lesson, an accomplished duke teaching his son how to be an exemplary person. The poem starts by praising the prince's handsome appearance and his honest virtue, as well as telling him even though he might do something stupid, that would be okay. Then it goes on to say, if he were to obtain the respect of other lords, he ought to attract more wise men and more subjects to serve him. The third and fourth verses warned him that what would happen if he does not uphold his moral ground. He would lose the trust of his people and the mandate of heaven. He should also be prepared to defend his kingdom. The next two verses warn him that he should be cautious about his speech, because his speech would have an impact on his subjects and officials. The seventh and eighth verses instruct him to cultivate his character and behave virtuously so that he would not lose the mandate of heaven. The ninth and 10th verses tell the prince that he should take these lessons seriously now that he is an adult and already has his own sons. In the last two verses, the Duke laments that he had lived a hard life to accomplish what he has, and the prince should listen to his old father and follow the teachings of the ancient sages. Otherwise, the heaven would punish the prince's wanton behavior, and disaster would fall on his kingdom, and his people will suffer. This is so funny whether you are a king, a duke, or a commoner. As long as you are a parent, you will nag your son. The verse Nanrong chanted over and over is from the 5th verse. Here is the whole verse. Bring peace to your officials and subjects, and be vigilant about your duties as a prince, and be prepared for the unforeseen disasters. Be cautious of what you say, be authoritative and grave in your mannerism to win respect, but be flexible and kind to your people. A flaw in a white jet tablet can be polished away, but a flaw in a speech, nothing can be done. For Nanrong to chant this verse over and over again shows that he took this lesson very seriously and probably intended to follow these lessons in his life. This was apparently very important for a young man to be able to appreciate the values from the poem. Confucius saw this and trusted Nanrong that he would be a good husband for his niece. If nothing else, Nanrong would not bring any misfortune for his family due to his caution in all matters. Confucius not only judged his disciples' characters by their ability to learn from the Book of Songs, he also used poetry from the book to teach them how to become an exemplary person. Here is a discussion of the Book of Songs the master had with another disciple named Zhigong. Zhigong said, "What do you think of the saying, poor but not inferior, rich but not superior?" The master replied, "Not bad, but not as good as poor but enjoying the way, or Dao, rich but loving the ritual propriety, or Li." Zhigong said, "The Book of Songs states, like bone carved and polished, like jet cut and ground. Is this not what you have in mind?" The master said, "Zhigong, it is only with the kind of you that I can discuss the songs. On the basis of what has been said, you know what is yet to come." Zhigong was eloquent in his speech and a successful businessman. His business was so successful that he was worshipped as one of the gods of wealth in some regions in China until today. Zhigong advocated ethical business practice according to Confucian ethics. The analyst recorded many occasions where Zhigong raised a question and went on have a deep discussion with the master. This is a discussion particularly relevant to him because of his interest in ethical business practice. Confucius was apparently impressed by Zhigong's emphasis on cultivating his character and virtue by citing the poem Yi, or On Caution, that teaches one how to become an exemplary person, or 君子. The master was so happy by Zhigong's insight, inspired by the songs, that he exclaimed that Zhigong was the kind of person he enjoys to talk about the songs. Let's look at the poem that got both Confucius and Zhigong so excited. This poem is in the title of Qi Yu. The translation presented here is adapted from James Legg's translation. Now, let me read the poem in its original Chinese. 瞻彼其域，绿竹依依。有匪君子，如切如磋，如琢如磨。色兮宪兮，赫兮喧兮。有匪君子，终不可宣兮。瞻彼其域，绿竹青青。有匪君子，充耳秀盈，快变如星。色兮宪兮，赫兮喧兮。有匪君子，终不可宣兮。瞻彼其域，绿竹如折。有匪君子，如金如锡，如圭如璧。宽兮绰兮，以从绝兮。善兮虐兮，不为虐兮。Now, let's look at the first 5 lines. 瞻彼其域，绿竹依依。有匪君子，如切如磋，如琢如磨。瞻 means look at. 彼 means that. Qi refers to a river located in today's Hunan province in central China. Yu means a recess along a river bank. Lü means grain. Zhu means bamboo. Yi means fresh and luxuriant. You means there is. Fei is a variation of fei, means brilliance, especially refers to brilliance in composing literature, such as poetry. 君子, as I said earlier, literally means the son of a lord, hence is translated as prince. This is because the poem was composed long before Confucius added the moral dimension to the concept, so I keep the original meaning before Confucius. 如 means as, 切 means cut, and 如 again means as, and 戳 means file. So 切 and 戳 are the methods to cut and file jade and ivory. 如 again means as, 琢 means chisel. 如 again as, and 磨 means polish. 琢 and 磨 are methods to polish jade and ivory. Here they are used to characterize the effort a prince puts in to refine his mannerism and style. In modern Chinese, 切磋 also means discussing and studying something with friends with a competitive edge. So, if your friends ask you to 切磋 something with you, it might be a challenge. You need to think about whether to take it up or not. And 琢磨 means think deeply over something by yourself. So if someone asks something from you, you can say 让我琢磨琢磨, meaning that let me think it over. So the 5 lines read, look at those recesses along the bank of the Qi River, and those green bamboos, so fresh and luxuriant. There comes our brilliant prince, like bone carved and polished, like jade cut and ground. 色兮宪兮，赫兮喧兮，有匪君子，终不可宣兮。色 means grave. Xi is the sound of excitement, which I translate as how with a exclamation mark. Xian means dignified, he means noble, xuan means distinguished, you means there is, fei again means brilliant, junzi means prince, zhong means finally, bu means not, ke means can, xuan means forget, 终不可宣 means can never be forgotten. So the 4 lines read, How grave and dignified is he, how noble and distinguished. There comes our brilliant prince, never can he be forgotten. 瞻彼其玉，绿竹青青，有匪君子，充耳秀盈，快变如星。So 瞻 again means look at, 彼 means that, 其 refers to the Qi River, 玉 means recess, 绿 means grain, 竹 means bamboo, 青 means dark green. When the character is repeated as 青青, the phrase refers to a dark yet luxuriant grain. 有 means there is, 匪 again means brilliant, 君子 means prince. 充耳 refers to the jet beads hang from a cap by the ears as shown in this picture in the red circle. 秀 refers to the gem hanging on the side of the cap. 莹 means lustrous. 快 refers to gems shown on a cap. 变 refers to cap made of lamp height. 如 means like. 星 means star. So the 5 lines read, Look at those recesses along the bank of Qi River, and those green bamboos, so dark and luxuriant. There comes our brilliant prince. Luxurious jet beads hanging by his ears, and gems shine from his cap like stars. Then the poems repeat with these 4 lines in the second verse. So I'm just going to read the translation. How grave and dignified is he, and how noble and distinguished. There comes our brilliant prince, never can he be forgotten. Now, let's look at the last verse. 瞻彼其玉，绿竹如折，有匪君子，如金如锡，如龟如璧。瞻 means look at, 彼 means that, 其 refers to the Qi River, 玉 means recess, 绿 means grain, 竹 means bamboo, 如 means as, 折 refers to mat woven from the reed stem as shown in this picture. But here it just means the bamboos are very dense. 有 means there is, 匪 means brilliant, 君子 means prince, 如 means as, 金 means gold, 如 means as again, 锡 means tin, 如 means as, 龟 means jet scepter, 如 means as, 璧 means jet tablet. Let me explain the imageries that used here. So jin literally means gold. But there was not much gold in ancient China, so jin often refers to bronze. So I translated jin and xi as bronze and tin vessels. Here are some unearthed bronze and tin vessels from the Zhou dynasty. Gui and bi are jet ornaments used at the court ceremonies by the kings and lords to symbolize power. So the 5 lines read, Look at those recesses along the banks of the Qi River, and those green bamboos, so dense and lustrous. There comes our brilliant prince, as strong as a bronze vessel, as elegant as a jet scepter and tablets. 宽兮绰兮，一重绝兮， 善戏虐戏不为虐兮. So 宽 means open mind, 绰 means gentle, 一 means stand by. 重爵 refers to the railings on the two sides of a chariot, as shown in the second chariot in this picture. 善 means good at. 戏谑 means joking. 不 means not. 为 means to be or become. 虐 means cruel. So the 4 lines read, How amicable is he and gentle. There he stands in his chariot with 2 high sides. How skillful is he at quips and jokes. Yet he keeps cruelty out of them. So, as we can see in this poem, the exemplary person puts in a lot of effort cultivating his mannerism, virtues, and talents. This is what Confucius was trying to instill in his disciples. Virtues and literary talents are certainly the key criteria for the ruling class to recruit officials. I'm certainly going to make more videos about this topic in the future. Of course, not all poetry was politically significant as this one. They were certainly poetry expressing emotions and poetry composed just for fun and entertainment. These kind of roles become more significant as the Tang Dynasty prospered and flourished in the later stage. I have received a request to translate and analyze a poem by Li Bai in the title of 长干行, or the Ballad of Changgan. So I'm going to do that in my next 2 videos, since Li Bai composed the 2 poems in this title. If you guys have any poems you would like me to present in my videos, please let me know in your comment. I would love to hear from you and do my best to help. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other videos on classical Chinese poetry, philosophies, and medical literature. If you like the content of my videos, please click the like button and subscribe my channel. I also offer one-to-one online lesson on these subjects. If you are interested in reading the classics in these topics, please contact me. Here's my email. Otherwise, thanks for viewing my video, and I'll see you next time.